Hey guys, it's Kayla, and this is the contemporary fiction tag created by Melissa Books, and I thought it was nice and simple, and I was tagged to do another tag, and I will be doing that. I just need a little more time with it, so I thought this would be nice to do in the meantime. Now, I actually haven't read a huge variety of contemporary books. It was actually YouTube that really got me into reading them, and so I'm really new to the genre, but I thought I would do the tag anyway because it's fun. The first question is favorite contemporary novel, and I ended up choosing Paper Towns by John Green. It was between this and another book, but I decided this one because I think so far John Green is my favorite contemporary author, and he makes great characters. I love the messages and themes of his books, and I really like how it can be meaningful to people, even those who are out of high school and have maybe moved on from that phase of their life, like I have. I think he took a new approach to the genre, and that just made it a lot more appealing and interesting to me, and I think it can be relevant to people of all ages. I think Paper Towns is my favorite John Green book so far, and that's why I chose it for this question. Contemporary that you think deserves more recognition. Now, I couldn't really think of one that fits the way that Melissa meant it, so I just went with An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. And I'm sorry if I talk about John Green too much in this video. I can't really help it. This book really doesn't need a lot of recognition because I think most people already know about it, so it doesn't need recognition in that way. But I think out of John Green's books, this one gets the least amount of praise, and I really liked it. I think the math aspect deserves more recognition because I don't see that very often in books, and I have a more math science oriented brain, and it's just really refreshing to come across books that include those kind of topics. And I know that John has a more history English oriented brain, so he was really stepping out of his comfort zone to write this book, and I really appreciate that. It's awesome when people step out of their comfort zone to learn new subjects, and that they can appreciate subjects even if they're not necessarily the best at them. What contemporary novel made you the saddest? I chose My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. I had to read this for a bioethics class in university. I think reading this book was even more emotional because I knew that I would have to analyze it and take a position on ethical debates, and that just made it a lot more real to me. There were definitely sad moments in the book, but I just think the whole situation was sad. And I'm pretty sure it made me cry, although I can't exactly remember because it was a while ago. Cutest contemporary you've ever read? I had a really hard time with this question because I honestly haven't read a lot of cutesy romance or anything like that. I haven't read Anna and the French Kiss, so I don't really know. I guess some sort of animal pet story that I might have read when I was younger, like Shiloh or something. Yeah, we'll just go with Shiloh. What contemporary made you feel all the feels? That is definitely The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I laughed, I almost cried, tears welled up in my eyes, and I tend to get emotional at random parts in books and not the obvious ones. It's my second favorite John Green book, and I really adore it. Who is your favorite character from a contemporary? I'm gonna say 15-year-old Christopher from The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And I think a lot of people would label him as having some sort of autistic spectrum disorder because he perceives and responds to the world differently. And I don't know if he could hypothetically be diagnosed with some sort of mental illness, but I just really enjoyed his thought processes immensely. And since they really dominated this book, that's probably why I loved it so much. I just think he is one of the more unique and interesting characters that I've come across. What character do you relate to the most? And again, Christopher. It's difficult to elaborate on how I relate to Christopher, but I thought I would share something that I found on Wikipedia that kind of helps you understand maybe. So I printed it out and I'll just read it to you. Mark Haddon wrote on his blog that Curious Incident is not a book about Asperger's. If anything, it's a novel about difference, about being an outsider, about seeing the world in a surprising and revealing way. The book is not specifically about any specific disorder, and that he is not an expert on autism spectrum disorder or Asperger's syndrome. And I think that is a really great explanation because It's really just about the fact that people can be different, and it doesn't always mean that something's wrong with them or that they're crazy. They can be normal people who are struggling because their differences make it difficult to cope in society. And I'm not going to go into detail, but that's really the basis of how I relate to him. What contemporary novel surprised you the most? I'm going to say Room by Emma Donoghue. Basically, because I knew that it would have a limited setting, I wasn't expecting much as far as world building goes, but I think she did a great job with the level of detail, and it was just amazing in that way. And I was also surprised by how it affected me and helped me through a hard time that I was going through. I really wasn't expecting to be able to relate to it in that way. At a time when I felt very helpless and trapped, it helped me see the positive and made it a lot easier to get through. And I'm making it sound really horrible. It was definitely nothing like the book, but I just really needed it at that time, and I was surprised at how much it helped me. Why do you enjoy the contemporary fiction genre? Well, I appreciate how it explores a lot of different life themes, and you can always find a book that will match your experiences and fit your struggle so that you can relate to it and know that you're not alone. It also raises awareness for a lot of these issues, and I think that's really great. What contemporary are you most looking forward to being released this year? I don't keep up with contemporary new releases, and it's primarily reviews that make me decide to read contemporaries, so I can't really answer that question, but I will say a book that I'm looking forward to reading. That is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. Those were all the questions. Thank you, Melissa, for creating this tag. I am going to tag some people, but if you're not interested, that's fine. I just wanted to tag some people, so I will tag Crystal, Laura, Angelica, and thanks for watching. Bye!